Tell us what you've been doing in Australia, Ruby.
Well, what have I been doing in Australia? Well, I came on the 7th of March, and when I first came I was in Melbourne for a week and stayed in a hotel, and I was a tourist for a week, so did all the touristy things. Did a lot of walking because although the virus was around, it wasn't thought as bad as it has become. So I did more walking than I did on buses or trams or anything, and had a lovely time. Drank lots of coffee, had lots of lovely meals. So, but then I came to my daughter, and a week later things were different. We were into lockdown, so I had 2 days where I could get out, but after that we've been in isolation. But in saying that, it's not been too difficult because the property my daughter's moved to with her husband and son is 3 acres in size, which is about 4 or 5 times the size of Kings Park, if you can visualise that. And it used to be a market garden, but it has not been touched for many years, so it's a question of clearing it out, trying to salvage what is possible, and doing what Gillian wants to do with it. She doesn't want to sell plants, that's for sure. So I've been cleaning out raspberries and strawberries, asparagus beds. I've been digging. I call it digging for victory. I'm allowed to use the secateurs and loppers and do what I like, which is an absolute treat because I love doing the garden. And to say I feel isolated, it's not. The place is so big, I feel slightly guilty that I'm not really being punished at all for this isolation. But there's a bonus here because my grandson's here, and I only have one, and it's so nice to spend a lot of time with him, and we've become great friends. And I actually stay in the family caravan, which is, it's rather big. You probably wonder what the background is, but there's a caravan. And he comes every Friday night and watch a movie, and he stays with me for a night. And it has been agreed that the caravan is now nicknamed the Granavan, and whatever happens in the Granavan stays in the Granavan. So we have little secrets. So it's been lovely. I've been very busy physically. Gardening is what I call it. It's so things are almost as normal as they would be if I'd been here on holiday. The only thing is I'm not having day trips. So I've been very busy, having a lovely time, enjoying my grandson. And there's a wee bonus as well on top of it all, because at the end of this property there is a little forest. And we noticed some animal poo, and we thought, ooh, what on earth is that? So Craig, my son-in-law, put up a camera, and we've discovered that we have wombats, kangaroos, there's a deer, there's a fox, and there are some rabbits. So it's a bit like living on a zoo where all the animals come out at night. And if you do go out at night and you shine a torch into the trees, you can see little possums. So that's what I've been doing in Australia, keeping busy, thinking of you all back home as well, but I'll be sorry to leave. I'm keen to come home too. Thank you for asking me.
This is my last painting. How did you get into painting? And what is your favourite thing to paint?
How did I get into painting? Actually, by accident. I didn't do anything. I used to like drawing. I used to draw for children, but nothing serious at all. But just before I retired, I went to a class on calligraphy, how to write beautifully. And after a few weeks, they actually started to illustrate the first letter. You often see it in big manuscripts or in Bibles, the first letter. It has a lovely drawing around it, and that's what we started. And I discovered I preferred doing that to the writing. So I bought myself, if you know in a paint box, they're little square boxes. Well, I went out and bought 6 little pans, they're called, half pans, and started painting. I wasn't very good at it, but someone suggested that I went to a class down at Newbattle Abbey. And there was no teacher, but people just went there to paint, and it's almost a self-help group. So you took your picture down and you painted it. It was as simple as that. I then went to night classes. I thought to get the theory side of art, but it was just the same. You took your picture along and painted it. The only thing is there was a professional there to give you help if you needed it. And that's how it all started. I still like doing it. I don't do it as much as I should. And as for what do I like painting? I like painting anything. I don't specialise. I feel I should try as much as possible, just because I like painting. But I do like using watercolours best rather than oils or acrylics. I always think it's slightly risky because you never know what it's going to look like till it's dry. But so nothing special to paint, but I like using watercolours best.
What is the longest walk you've done and why?
What's my longest walk? Well, it was about 20 years ago, and it was 16 miles, which doesn't seem an awful lot, but it also included a Munro, and a Munro is a hill over 3,000 feet. So 16 miles plus a Munro is a fairly hard walk. The reason we did it was my sister was going to be doing a sponsored walk in Morocco, and she was going to be walking for about 7 days, and she hadn't really done a lot of walking, and my husband decided that she should really get fit. So we actually went into training, we called it, and for a few months we went out every Saturday, and towards the end we had a few weekends away, but that particular week we went out for 6 days, walked every day, a minimum of say 10 to 12 miles all the time, and they usually included a hill of some sort. But that particular day was, I remember it because by the end of it I was a bit tired. So that was my longest walk, but 20 years ago, and we did it for the benefit of my sister. The longest I've done since then was actually this kilt walk 2 years ago. But again, I had to go into training for it because although I walk a lot, I don't do as much as I used to. And to be able to walk 15 miles in one go was a wee bit difficult. I went into training. I know every mile between here and King's Road at Musselburgh. So that's my longest walk.
And tell me, how long have you been coming to St John's King's Park Church?
How long have I been coming to St John's Church? I joined St John's Church in 1977, and that would make it 43 years to date, but there was many years when I actually didn't come, so I can't claim to say I've been coming for 43 years. So if you subtract the years I didn't come, I end up with 25 years. It's still a long time, but not as good as it could have been. Fairly short answer, Grace, but it's a true one.
What do you like about our church? I like Kiki.
What do I like about King's Park? There is such a lot to like about St John's and King's Park Church. It's really difficult. So I decided I'm going to go for the minister and the church family. And I can't separate them because you don't just have a Sunday service. You can have encounter, you have prayer groups, you've got house groups, you've got the Alpha Course, the Lent study, and we even have a Ceilidh and Hogmanay. There is so much happening in this church, all organised by the minister. But unless the church family attend it, we don't have anything. The church family needs a minister, and the minister needs the church family. And I think that it's been proved this past few months that the service we have on a Sunday with a video link is exciting. You wonder what's going to, they're so different. Each week is different. I keep thinking, oh, I wonder what we're going to have this week. Never visualising I'll be on one of them. So I find the minister and the church family are the things that make the church, and it's a wonderful church to be part of.
My mum's favourite hymn is Amazing Grace. My favourite hymn is My Lighthouse. What is your favourite hymn?
My favourite hymn, well, because of my age, I'm quite old. I've heard quite a few. I heard lots and lots, but I decided I'd give you an answer. And the one I'm going to choose is To God Be the Glory, only because it triggers a memory. About 3 years ago, I was at St Mary's Cathedral in Edinburgh, and they were having an evening service, and you were just singing hymns, which is lovely. And why it's so special for me, I can't sing. I really can't sing. And to be part of a group that when I sang my heart out, nobody could really hear me because of all the others. and it was such a lovely night that I could not worry about who heard me because nobody knew me. And I think it was, if it wasn't the last hymn, it was near the end when we sang "To God Be the Glory." And I love the words in it anyway. I find the words are special. It's a great chorus. And I came home on the bus. I don't think I sang it out loud, but it was so much in my mind. I kept going over and over it. It's a beautiful hymn, and I like it. So I will choose "To God Be the Glory." Amen to that.